Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Newcastle here in the state of New South Wales in the beautiful country of Australia as the World Surf League Championship Tour continues with stop number 2 here at the Rip Curl Newcastle Cup presented by Corona. Wow, that felt good. Joe Turpel, Ronnie Blakey, Richie Lovett. I missed you both incredibly over this last year, even through Pipeline, to be sitting next to you both, knowing that this is the opening day of the waiting period. Are we dreaming, Ron?
No, mate, this is real. It's real. We're back in Newcastle too, which is fantastic. Obviously, Surfest has been running here for a number of years. It was a CT event through the 80s. We had our last CT winner here in 1990. It's time to crown another CT champion here in 2021. It's going to be awesome.
Long road, Rich, to get here for a lot of our international surfers, even some Australian surfers that were returning through that charter flight. The thing that we were happy about was they actually scored when they got here to Newcastle. Unbelievable conditions, fresh out of quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone came out with so much enthusiasm out of quarantine, you know, chomping at the bit. And it's great to be calling the action with you guys. And, you know, as a surf fan, I'm just fizzing to watch this thing get underway. I can only imagine how the surfers are feeling. They must be just chomping at the bit.
Well, they got a lot of good surf, and it was a good thing because I think they were getting a little bit loopy. 14 days trying to survive, and these guys like to surf all day long. Yeah, things did get a little bit weird in quarantine. Check this out.
Oh, I didn't see you guys there.
Oh, wow, what do we have here?
I have Vegemite, and I like to eat it with my finger.
All you need to do is 10 minutes a day. You'll become the best is, just like me.
Welcome to the Breezy Kitchen.
Right here, right now, especially during quarantine when your mind can go foggy in a second. Bang.
That looks terrible.
I'm trying.
Alright, I'm over it.
I think all the surfers did a really good job managing their time, getting a little bit ridiculous, training constantly. Ronnie, who won quarantine? Everything's a competition. Who won?
I think the reigning world champ has it. I mean, he pretty much dominated social media through last year, and the big break that we had. Italo is just, he's perfect for quarantine because he has that energy that you can't contain, and it came through in his posts, obviously.
Even in that box, he was able to just stay focused, stay heat ready for a potential opening day today. Let's get some more insight, Rich, if we're going to get things underway with the Surfline forecast. Thanks to local forecaster Ben McCartney for the report. Rich, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, well, we've got very typical waves for the east coast of Australia at the moment. We're coming off a southeasterly swell energy. It's tapering slightly, but you'll see the little orange blob there off the east coast. That's produced the waves over the last few days. As I said, it's tapering off. We have a high tide at 12 o'clock today, but check out this big purple blob under Australia there. That is going to produce some exceptional swell towards the back half. But in the water right now, we have waves in the head high, shoulder to head high. So in my opinion, very contestable. Like I said, this is typical conditions, and I'm sure our surfers are just primed and ready. They came here thinking beach breaks. They came here thinking, you know, high energy, quick turns, you know, that really kind of fast impact surfing, and I think that's what we're going to see in the next few days.
The cool thing about this location is when you start to review the things that Merewether likes, northeast swell, east swell, and southeast swell. So it kind of sets up pretty well, and it's a great time of year. We're getting consistent swells, Joey, moving up the coast, and I'm pretty confident we're going to see some size out here too at some stage.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, boys. Now it's time to get the official calls. We say a big good morning to Stace Galbraith down on the deck with Jesse Miley-Dyer.
Thanks, Joe. I'm here with the head of tours and competition, Jesse Miley-Dyer. What a journey to get here.
Yeah, it's been, you know, it is a real victory, I think, for us to be here today, and you know, we all kind of feel like, I feel like the whole tour has been on this big adventure to get here to Merewether, so we're happy.
Now, there's some winners and losers in quarantine. How do you think you went?
Look, I had fun. I definitely was a loser in the fitness challenges. I'm no Italo, that's for sure. But you know, actually kind of was a nice kind of chance to sit back and reflect, and everyone, you know, kind of, we did a lot of show and tell of what people are doing on Instagram, what people were cooking, and again, all the things that I failed at.
Yeah, it looked like you had a lot of fun in what was a pretty challenging situation. First day of the waiting period, Jesse. How are we looking out there? What's the call?
So we're actually going to be on. We're going to start with men's round 1 at 7:35, followed by women's round 1. We've definitely got a couple of little waves this morning, and it looks fun, you know. There's, for what we're looking at right now in this forecast, today's like a really promising day, and we're going to take advantage of it. And yeah, like, it's really cool to just be back, and I feel a little bit like it's the first day of school.
Yeah, absolutely. It does feel like the first day of the school. And yeah, talking about the forecast, are you pretty confident about the back end?
Yeah, it's definitely looking like there's some promise in the back end, you know, and we're definitely, you know, we've been in these kind of funky weather patterns here in New South Wales, and it's probably not something that I'm going to really bank on yet, but it really does look like we're going to get good waves. You know, further back in that next Thursday, it looks like it could be pumping. So I'm excited about that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all are. Well, congratulations on the new role, and looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Stace. Thank you, Jesse, for the great news. It's on. Opening day begins at 7:35 local time. First heat, Kanoa Igarashi takes on Connor Coffin and David Silva. And the women still on deck to get out there later on today. Coming up next, we'll bring in Dimity Stoyle to break down the Fantasy Surf Team Power Picks. Opening day is officially on, starting at 7:35 local time. The world's best will be battling in that first heat in the seeding round for a good spot into the round of 32. Joe Turpel with Ronnie Blakey and longtime surfing legend, CT standout, a DJ, Shimmy Disco. Her proper name, Dimity Stoyle. Dimity, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to watch surfing.
Oh, incredible to just chat with you about surfing anywhere we are in the world, especially Newcastle.
I know.
Great feelings coming back to you as a former champ.
Yeah. I know, this place is so amazing. It's just can throw anything at you, so it's going to be really exciting to watch the world's best and see what they can do.
When you win an event in such a special place like Newcastle, are those visions still in your mind of getting to the podium and being around your best friends in the world?
I love coming back here, and yeah, Sally was in the final that year, and Joel Parkinson, so it was a pretty special year, and yeah, this place, I love it. I just love coming back.
We're really going to be enjoying your insight, and also, I guess, a competitor of yours, a friend, a rival, maybe all of the above. Laura Enever on hand, already excited in the water. Morning, Laura. How's it looking out there?
Morning, guys. Yeah, it's looking good. The competitors have just heard the call, and you can see the vibe, the energy's just shifted. But yeah, no, it's super exciting. Everyone's stoked. There's a couple little waves, and yeah, I've seen a lot of fins from the back of the waves, so it's going to be a good day.
Laura, longtime CT standout yourself. Let's get your insight for fantasy surfers out there. What is your power pick for this event in Newcastle?
Well, that was a hard one, but my power pick was Stephanie Gilmore. Although I haven't seen her out there this morning. One of the only girls not showing face, so I'm sure she's doing something to get all psyched up somewhere else. But I love that element of surprise that Steph always brings, and I mean, I saw her surfing up the coast last week and she was looking very spicy.
So maybe making you a little nervous. She's not entering the warm-up, but obviously a big pick for you, a 7-time world champion. What do you think she will bring to the conditions at Newcastle today?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I saw her surfing on these epic-looking boards. She was just so fast, and yeah, I mean, I think it's Steph. She loves the beachies, and yeah, I think it'll be exciting to see what she can do.
Great to hear Laura's insight. Look, great friends with Steph and surfing a lot with her herself, so she sees that extra motivation, which we're always kind of trying to add up with our highly decorated surfers, going, what is pushing them this year? And I feel like her being now world number 5, Ronnie, it's clear that she's got something to build on early in the season.
Yeah, my mind kind of goes back to Steph's last world title run, and that year she really stepped it up in marginal conditions and showed us that she can get it done on those beach break kind of waves, not just the point breaks. And yeah, she evolved. She evolved her surfing, which is hard to do when you're a veteran.
We heard Laura's power pick, Dimity. Going straight to you. Who are you thinking?
I'm going to have to go with Tyler Wright. I've seen she's got this laser focus on winning, and I just love that. I love seeing her in that mode. And secondly, because Newcastle is just such a challenging wave. There's so many different moods to this place, and I feel like Tyler's just so adaptable, and she can just be so strong in everything.
Crazy her return to competition too. It's been amazing to watch. Just coming back, and you know, even at the end of the 2019 season, that last event in Maui, she just came back and reminded us how brilliant she is. And she's another surfer who already has world titles and somehow improved her performances.
She's just, I love the fire, and yeah, she's a little bit unstoppable. It's almost scary for the other girls, so watch out.
Really impressed, as once again she is world #1 heading into this stop, and it's an event that her family's won, from Kirby at winning Surf Fest in the past, and also Mikey. So we talked about that at the press conference, and that made her really smile, going, wow, that means so much to her. We always know she's surfing for more than just herself all the time, and now she'll have that a little bit more fuel to really fire up, which will be great to see.
Yeah, you made a great point there, Joe. Tyler is a different person psychologically. Obviously, physically, she's gotten back to her best, but psychologically, she is not just surfing for herself. Surfing, as we know, can be a bit of a selfish pursuit, but she really wants to use the platform that she has with surfing to make some real changes.
I hope all the surf fans out there taking Dimity Stoyle and Laura Enever's advice for their power picks on their fantasy surf teams. Coming up next, we'll bring in Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew, the 78 world champ, to break down his power pick for the men's. Coming up next here on opening day. It is an incredible morning for pro surfing. The contest called on here at the Rip Curl Newcastle Cup, presented by Corona. Stop number 2 of the season, with the first stop of the Australian leg of the tour. 4 great events that we've been anticipating. We're finally here on the sands of Newcastle. Joe Turpel, Ronnie Blakey, and look who we have here. An all-time hero for all of us here, 78 world champ, Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew. Rabbit, so good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you guys here, and all time WSL surfing back.
Oh, and so great to be in a true surf city like Newcastle, and one of your old rivals, MR. We've been seeing him around getting some surfs in. Have you had some catch-ups with MR lately?
Yeah, I saw Mark this morning, and he's here bright and early as usual to his home beach, and you know, it's a real honour and privilege to be here, and hopefully we'll catch up for a couple of surfs.
Champions, remember, get the MR twin on the podium. That's another nice bonus to winning this event. Well, Rabbit, we've been talking about the power surfers for Dimity Stoyle, Laura Enever. They went with world champs like Steph and Tyler. On the men's side, who are you thinking is going to be your power surfer on your fantasy team?
Well, obviously, look, it's a stellar field. There could have been any one of picks, but I've gone for Griffin Colapinto. You know, I've been watching a bit of good work he's been doing in the warm-up with his brother. They've posted some pretty good footage, and also thinking about the break at Merriweather. You know, it's just got that outside sort of reef, and then that midsection you do, and a really fun sort of sand shore break. And I kind of think Griffin could blow up on this place.
He's got all the tools, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Griffin's just been surfing so well. Had that amazing run in Hawaii Bugs. Didn't do too well in the contest, but you know, rode some waves that he'll remember for the rest of his life, and we probably all will too.
Yeah, he's an awesome surfer, and as I said, look, you know, it could have been anyone, but yeah, I'll go with Griffin. I think he's on.
And I know I enjoy that from a world champ like yourself, actually not picking a world champ and going for someone like Griff with that young blood to really capitalize on this event. Going straight to you, Ronnie, who's your power surfer?
I got a feeling Bugs and I are in the same boat. We had a shocker at Pipe, and we don't want to pick that same power surfer that everyone else is going to pick. We want to make up some points. I'm going to go with a bit of a sentimental pick. Hometown favourite, Ryan Callanan. Just for now, his free surfing edit, which he dropped recently, my eyes still aren't working. It just blew my mind, the surfing that he's doing. Ryan's been on tour for a few years now. His surfing just seems to be improving. You know, there's a lot of surfers on the championship tour who are able to keep evolving. Some plateau, but they're such savvy competitors that are still able to chase those results. Ryan's, I think, becoming a better competitor. I think his surfing's getting better. He's got a great relationship with the conditions around here. He's had a tie in a final of the Surfest event, and yeah, I'm backing him to ride that hometown energy and go all the way.
It's such an interesting X factor. How many surfers thrive off the hometown crowd, and how some actually have felt more pressure in surfing history, Rabbit?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if you get pumped up, if you're that kind of person who gets pumped up and really feels the crowd behind you, you know, you're going to thrive. You know, other people kind of go into their shell, get a bit over nervous. You know, it's each to their own, and on different days too.
Well, we have some fresh new rules for fantasy on WorldSurfLeague.com. A lot of fun new features to work with. One of my favorites is you actually can change your team throughout the seeding round. And before you get into that elimination round, you can actually go, you know what? That person didn't look that great. I'll make a switch last minute. And also your power surfers we're talking about. Those are important because those are worth double points. It doesn't even have to be in your top tier A. It can come from anyone in the field, like for these two. Ryan Callanan, Griffin Colapinto. I think Griffin especially is really looking forward to bounce back after a heartbreaking result that he had at Pipeline. Probably getting some of the clips that everyone's saying wave of the winner, maybe the wave of the last 10 winners on the North Shore, and then to lose so early at Pipe. Griffin said that was gut-wrenching, and he's fired up, ready to compete here today.
Joey, you made a power pick yet in your fantasy team?
I have Felipe Toledo, who is looking so strong, explosive. I'm expecting for a big, fiery leg here, not just here at Newcastle, but a massive statement here in the Australian leg of the season. We'll take a quick break, getting close to that first horn to kick off the Australian leg of the tour. We'll be right back for more after this.
Newcastle is a very special place in my heart. With the right swell direction and wind and sand and everything, I've had some definitely world-class waves here. The city as a whole is just booming and the vibe's really amazing. The whole history of the place and how it came to be and what it's growing into is really, really special. To have a WCT event here is just phenomenal. The whole surrounding Newcastle area is such a big part of who I am, and to be competing on that world stage at my home break, it's going to be an incredible experience. The people of Newcastle really make this place so special. Everything that's going on around the place, it's on the up. I definitely recommend visiting Newcastle.
A beautiful opening ceremony by the Awabakal people. Welcome to country. I'm so lucky to be here on this beautiful land. Two-time world champ, world #1, Tyler Wright. Experiencing such a beautiful welcome to begin to compete here at Newcastle as we're about to kick off a massive day for pro surfing. 4 big events back to back to back, and really exciting to really dive into the world title stories with so many world champions. It feels like it with Italo, with John back, Medina, you know, still looking quietly almost in the shadows, it seems, with all the hype reels that Italo posts and the momentum with John from Pipeline. Remember, Medina is still world #2 coming into an event like this.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? That run to the final series, the Rip Curl final series in September, is going to be very interesting. It's a totally different year this year, Bugs, and the surfers really can't afford to come into these events, you know, half in. They've got to go all out. They want to crack that top 5 and have a world title shot.
Well, that's why this Australian leg is going to be, you know, so crucial. You know, 4 back-to-back events in you know, varying locations, lots of different kinds of waves, and you know, as you know, to your point, I mean, it's always, you know, the big 3, the big 5, but there's quite a few guys that want to break into that as well.
As we look at our schedule, starting here at Newcastle to kick things off with the Rip Curl Newcastle Cup presented by Corona. Quickly going down the coast to the Rip Curl Narrabeen Classic presented by Corona. Then we hop over to the west for the Boost Mobile Margaret River Pro presented by Corona. And then the search is back. Rip Curl Rottnest Search presented by Corona. That'll all kick off May 16th. So just getting comfortable here in Australia. You want to get on a roll quickly. The thing is, though, if you have a tough loss, you have instant redemption because there's another heat coming very soon, Ron.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome just, you know, revisiting some of these former championship tour locations here of course, Sparks, but Narrabene's going to be very special. I know all the locals down there are really looking forward to embracing the Championship Tour surfers and seeing what they can do at their home break.
Look, you know, North Narrabeen, it's a world-class wave and such a history, you know. I mean, really back in the day with Mark Richards and myself and all that crew, you know, we had many, many big tournaments, CTs at North Narrabeen. So awesome slice of history.
And then, of course, Margaret's, which we've been visiting and enjoying for the last 6 or so years. It's been fantastic. But you're right, the Rip Curl Search event at Rottnest, that's going to be the most interesting one. It's going to be really interesting to see how the surfers adapt to a new location, what kind of surfing they can bring to that spot, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
We mentioned how back-to-back it will be, and then they probably come off the longest hiatus from the Jersey in the middle of a season, because Pipe and Maui, that's event number 1, and that was at the end of last year in 2020. That's a part of this year, and then you think of all that time off with the cancellations and events being moved. Now Kanoa Igarashi, Connor Coffin, David Silva have to switch it into high gear quickly. Rabbit, what are the challenges that they're going to be dealing with this morning?
Well, it's going to be hit the ground running. I mean, as you said, a huge hiatus, you know. Then, you know, the quarantine, you know, a lot of challenges. And here we are. I mean, they're paddling out for a 30-minute heat, and Eddie's on.
Really cool to see Connor Coffin on those fresh sleds from JS Industries. Having a quick morning chat with Seth Moniz. Seth coming up later on in the draw. And sending some support for Connor Coffin. Connor famously known for his amazing ability in point breaks, hollow conditions at cloud break, pipeline, and backdoor. Beach break conditions. What are his chances in this first seat of the morning, Ron?
It's going to be challenging. I think it's going to be challenging for all the competitors. There's definitely going to be some nerves. I think everyone's going to understand the gravity of the situation with these events. The importance of avoiding that elimination round is really crucial. Connor's going to be up against it. I think today, with the conditions the way they are, aerials are going to play a big part. He's definitely capable of going to the air, but his strike rate probably not as good as someone like David Silva or Kanoa Igarashi. So, you know, he's probably going to go into this one, I'd say, as the underdog of the 3.
You look at David Silva, he's been proving himself through the QS. He was a longtime sparring partner with Felipe Toledo when they were kids. He can go for airs without having a section. We saw him do that in Manly down the coast in New South Wales, where he could do double alley-oops on the same wave. I remember when David Silva actually got a wild card into Rio de Janeiro. Matty Wilco was world #1 at the time, and he upset the current rankings leader at the time. And everyone's going, wait, who is this guy? When is he going to qualify? Conditions like we have today, you're looking, look out. Silva is going to be a huge threat this morning.
Yeah, I think he will be. I mean, and the Brazilians have got a good recent record in Newcastle. You know, I mean, a couple of years ago watching, you know, Jason Andre and Ribeiro, I mean, they were surfing unbelievable out here. And I think this is Brazil town, you know, I mean, you know, the conditions today. But, you know, Kanoa also, you know, I mean, he would have been tuning up there at Huntington Beach. So.
That's right, a 2-time U.S. Open champ who is so incredibly talented at making flat sections look incredibly smooth. And Ronnie, he's now celebrating one of his better starts of the season, world #5, just losing to Medina in the quarters of Pipeline this year.
Yeah, he always performs so well there at Pipe, and there's a few people that are enjoying, I think, that shift on the schedule. Medina's another guy who typically hasn't started fantastically here in Australia when the events have kicked off, but this year getting the opportunity to kick off his campaign at Pipe, 2nd in the world, Kanoa a 5th, as you mentioned, and well poised to make a big jump up the leaderboard. And you really just want to put some more distance between yourself at the top end and those surfers who struggled in that first contest. So this is a big opportunity for Kanoa here at the first event of this Australian series.
So as we look forward to the start of the first heat, Kanoa Igarashi recently joined Dave Proden on the lineup. Let's listen in.
That's what's so amazing about competition, is about that 30 minutes that you're in the water. Nobody cares what you did the night before or a month before or a year before. No one cares what you've been doing. The only thing that people care about is about what's happening in that 30 minutes and how you're surfing, and if you're gassing out, if you're fatiguing, if you're not, if you're winning, if you're stomping the airs. You know, that's the only thing people care about. And that's kind of the mentality that I've been putting in the last few years. It's like, no one cares about what you're doing outside. It's about that window. It's about those 3 days that you're competing. It's about that 30 minutes that you're surfing against the other guy. And it's about outworking the other competitor. So, you know, it's kind of that mentality that you have to click into. It's a little bit different, but it's you know, it's kind of.
Now it's time to hear the official horn for the first heat with four-time world champ MR.
Okay, MR, restart the season. Go
All right.
for it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No one else who should be calling the horn but you.